Thank you for turning to 10, your news leader. 10 News Conference with Gene Valicenti continues right now.
Welcome back. One of our favorite guests is back with us, Fall River Mayor Paul Coogan. He's fresh off his State of the City address last week. So let's get right to that and other things. Good morning, Mayor. Welcome in.
Good morning, Gene. Thanks for having me.
During the break, I said, are you still a Democrat? And what'd you tell me?
I said I sure am.
Yeah, boy, but the party's down in the polls, and even Joe Paolino, who ran for the #2 post nationally, he said they've lost direction. You agree with that?
Absolutely. A lot of things we're doing wrong. I mean, look what happened in Fall River. We were one of the few great gateway cities in Massachusetts that voted for Trump. So, I mean, the people are speaking. But I'm more moderate to the middle on the Democrats, the old style.
Yeah.
I mean, the fringe is not for me either.
Well, unfortunately, everybody gets the D in front of their names. So
Correct.
You get the D, Joe gets the D, your governor, she gets the D,
yep.
And some say, the left progressives in your party are ruining it. Do you agree with that? And what about all this, the burning of Teslas, going after Elon Musk? Go ahead, take it.
That's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. That's not going to win you. That's going to cost us votes. You can't go down that road of vandalizing property, smashing windows. I don't agree with any of that. I never did. I don't care what side you're on. That's just vandalism. Elon Musk is brilliant. Do I think he might be overstepping a little bit right now? Mm-hmm. Sure, but they're going to rein him in. I mean, that's what they do. But he's trying. When you watch that space ship go rescue those astronauts, the guy's at a different level, idea-wise, than I am. So I give him credit for that, but I don't like the overreach either.
Well, where's the consensus in your party? You've been elected many, many times in Fall River. You're kind of like an elder statesman. So is Paolino.
Right.
So are others. Are you talking? Are you trying to wrestle this back? I mean, how do you get those numbers up? How do you rescue your party? Because I got to tell you, there's a lot of mainstream Democrats, too, knocking Trump every chance they get.
Absolutely, but that's part of the D and the R.
Yeah.
Legitimate debate on issues is fine with me. I don't know if I agree with what he's doing with the Department of Education, for example, right now. If they're going to wipe that out, as a longtime educator, I got to believe that's going to have a tremendous negative impact on kids and scores. But what's the alternative? Is he going to send the money back to the states, or am I going to go back to Boston and say, can I have my share back? How's this going to work? So those are the things I'm concerned about, the blue collar issues that are going to make the city a better place to live. The fringe stuff, they can have all that all day long.
Yeah, well, I think the plan that President Trump has put forward is I'm eliminating the Department of Education as a bureaucracy, as something between us and you. The money is still going to flow. He assured us the Pell Grants are coming, the money for special needs children. The money that comes out of the Department of Education will still come and will go to the state to spend as it sees fit. He's cutting out the wasteful bureaucracy. Is there any merit to that?
I don't know who's for the wasteful bureaucracy, but what happens sometimes when you cut out what's wasteful to some people might not be wasteful to everybody, so you have to be very careful with that. If the money comes back, if the money goes to the state, then that means I got to go back to Boston. We have a tremendous legislative delegation that I'm sure is going to work with us to get our share for Fall River, but at the same time, it's just another step for me right now.
But is it possible you might do better?
I hope I do.
If he's saying, here's the bundle of money, here's the bag of cash, it's yours, spend it.
Then I will congratulate him. That's the way it works. If I'm doing better and that means the city of Fall River is doing better, I'm all for it.
Well, that's a wait and see.
That is a wait and see.
We will see. Now, while we're going up to Boston, shipping up to Boston, as they say in the Commonwealth, are you happy with the way the governor's performing? Every day I read these stories about migrant shelters, billions of dollars spent in and out of hotels. When you read the same stuff I do?
Correct. Maura Healey's a friend of mine. But my wife's a friend of mine, and I don't agree with everything she does. I don't agree with putting the citizens of Massachusetts in a secondary position to any group. So I would favor the money going to regular Mass residents. The migrants overwhelmed us. Let's be fair here. Yeah. We weren't prepared for that. It's something that we have to fill and do the best we can right now. But again, I hear it all the time. The money's going to migrants. The money's going to migrants. It's a common call in Massachusetts. Again, we voted for Trump down in Fall River, so it was, and people have to understand, it wasn't just the more blue-collar neighborhoods in Fall River, it was our best neighborhoods that went for Trump.
Well, what does that tell you? Fall River, Massachusetts went for Trump. What does that tell you?
It tells me his message was resonating with the voters. More money in your pocket, lower costs, people back to work. removing the migrants. Those messages all resonated in the city. So, I mean, you got to respect people. Everybody gets the same amount of votes when they go in that booth, and they spoke loud that day.
You said Governor Healy's a friend of yours.
She is a friend of mine.
Can you pick up the phone and call and say, Governor, what are you doing? $1 billion for the migrants and other shelters at large. And then there's Mayor Wu fighting with Donald Trump, doubling down. You're not, what? Can you do that, or you don't want to get involved?
No.
You got your own trouble.
Well, I'm going to see her Monday.
Yeah.
I doubt that's going to come up. But at the same time, she takes my calls whenever I call her. But I got to believe if she's waiting to get a call from Paul Coogan about the migrants, I'm pretty far down the pecking order. If she didn't hear it from people in the media or people at the State House.
Oh, she's heard it.
I bet she's heard it. Yeah, I bet she's heard it.
When you talk to your other Democrat mayors, you've got a lot of them over there, and your friends in New Bedford and all over there. What do you say?
I think everybody's
Are you as disgusted as some of your voters who voted for Trump are?
I am when it's costing the city of Fall River money. Absolutely, I am. I have school transportation issues. I have homeless issues. These are all piling in on me too, and I have to take care of them to the best of my ability. And when I see money being spent on anything that I disagree with, and some of it might have merit, but I just happen to disagree with it, it doesn't sit well with me.
All right, tell you what, Mayor, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk something positive. You are finally getting this rail service up to Boston. And I'm going to ask you what you're getting for a triple-decker in town these days, because last time you were one, it was pretty good. So stay with us. Mayor Paul Coogan, Fall River. We'll be right back. Welcome back to 10 News Conference. Fall River Mayor Paul Coogan with us for one more segment. Mayor, we're finally getting rail service from your city up to Boston. Can you believe it? You were a young man when they first started talking about this. It's supposed to happen Monday.
I know. It's going to be, we're having a little kickoff celebration in Fall River at 10 o'clock at our terminal down on Duval Street. It's been a long time coming. But that morning, the trains are going to start at 5:08, and they're going to run every hour thereafter, and off we go.
How big a deal is this for Fall River? By the way, they're going to split in Taunton. One goes to you, one goes to New Bedford.
Right.
So everybody gets up to Boston and back.
Right.
Well, that's going to raise real estate property values, do you think? I mean, because you're going to become more of a suburb of Boston if you can get a rail line up there.
I don't know. Rail prices on houses has gone up so much in Fall River. I really don't know how much higher it can go. Rents are up, house prices are up, land's up, everything's up in Fall River. So if we get another bump on this, we're going to be Nantucket.
Well, okay, let me, this is interesting that you took us. Is that good or bad? I mean, I would say if I live in Fall River, my property is going to go up, things are going to be great, you're going to collect more in taxes. Isn't this good?
Right, it is good.
Is there a downside?
There's a downside.
What is that?
It's the public perception of the cost of living in the city. Fall River has a number of residents that have been there forever. This isn't like a new generation moving in all the time. We do have a lot of new people, but it's a very stable city population. And when they say, I used to pay $100 a month, I used to pay $100 a month, it resonates. Rents have gone up, prices have gone up. It's funny, nobody talks about the old days when they sell their property. But everybody talks about the old days when they pay their taxes or the old days when they pay their rent. When you sell your property, you make a substantial investment in Fall River. We're still going along at 6 or 7% increases every year, which is more than you'll get on the open market. So we're not one of the towns. Some of the towns some of the towns in Massachusetts started to lose value. That's not us.
No, you mean those triple deckers that people bought for a song and a dance decades ago. They stayed in there. They raised their families. They're selling them and they're cashing in.
They are cashing in.
What are you getting for it?
Well, we had one sold. A friend of mine who works in the building with us sold one on Barnes Street in the Flint the other day for $650,000. A triple decker in Fall River. I mean, you could buy those for $50,000, $80,000, $100,000, and you would have made an investment 6 times your money. And people have to understand that's where the money is sitting in their real estate. It's an investment. Eventually, I was having a disagreement with a woman the other day about it, and I said, listen, that's your investment. That's your nest egg. And you should be yelling at me if we're Gary, Indiana, and the houses have dropped to 40 grand and we're about to get smoked.
In other words, those triple deckers, I know just what they look like.
Yep.
The vinyl siding. Mm-hmm. And the fire escape and everything you see.
The long stairway up.
It's all there.
Yep.
680.
Yep.
Did you say 600?
Absolutely, some more.
Okay. And the problem is that, someone who's renting, it went up for the landlord.
Right.
Great. But the rent is also going up, and are they being driven out of Fall River?
I don't know if they're being driven out. I think when you look at the statewide average on rents, we're still below most communities. I think there was a big report done in a paper that said we're the number one community in Massachusetts for the most naturally affordable rents without a government subsidy. But at the same time, it's sticker shock for some people.
Okay, so property values are going up astronomically. In some
well,
cases.
They've settled down from what they were, but they're still going up a good 6-8% a year.
You're getting the train, that's good. You may have people coming down and they're going to live in Fall River and commute up, and they may not have considered your town.
Right, we had a couple from Waltham that bought a little condo, not in a great section of the city that I would call it, but they love it.
So what else are you delivering them, though? Because you still have persistent problems with your schools.
Well,
I know that your scores aren't where you want to be. And you've got crime in Fall River, and you've got other attendant problems that you've dealt with since you became the mayor.
Right.
So go ahead. What's the sell?
Well, the sell,
other than good property value.
Good property value, good location. Our schools, our buildings, I would put second to any gateway city in the country. Do we have to work on our scores? Absolutely. The gentleman across the hall from me, he had triplets. 2 of them got into Brown, 1 just got into Notre Dame yesterday. So my position is you can get into a good college if that's where you want to go. We're building a brand new vocational school, which is going to have all the trades. It's a beautiful, beautiful building. That's going up. We have a new high school that's just absolutely gorgeous, all the technology you want. I told you last time, Gene, anytime you want to take a walk through, I'll take you. But we're building our infrastructure. Bristol Community College is right up the road, free education at a college level in town. So education is foremost with us. Do we have problems? Scores, curriculum, retention. We just gave our teachers a significant raise, one of the best in the state. And we're moving in that direction to keep the people that want to work there and treat them fairly, give them a good wage, and get people to stay.
Let's be fair. You have some good news with regard to attendance. You said attendance is up double digits?
Right.
I said, why is that?
I think it's because of our outreach and the work we're doing with families. We have a great superintendent now, Dr. Curley, who's put together a team, social emotional learning, focused on getting the kids into school and getting them services when they're there. We've boosted our social emotional learning department. I want to call it school adjustment counselors, SELs, ELLs. We have a plethora of people working with kids every day now to try to get them to understand the importance of education.
We only have about 2 minutes left. Just quickly on police and fire. You have you got crime in your city. It turns up on the news, 6 o'clock. I read it.
I think, well, both our fire department and our police department both got significant increases. Our fire department does a great job. You've seen a couple of these fires. They handle it. They know what to do. They do a great job. I don't knock them a lick. Our police department is obviously in a different category because they're on the streets every single day.
And you had some personnel problems there.
Well, we had some personnel problems, but we're working our way through them. We put the first female chief in, Interim Chief Kelly Furtado. We're waiting to see how she does, but she reorganized right away, consolidating teams, and now there's much more knocking on the door saying, open the door, come on out. They're going out after the criminals before it's on the street. You
know, you said I put my first female chief in there. So natural, well, is she the best chief? You know, a lot of talk about people getting jobs for certain reasons because they're a female or because they're a certain minority. Go ahead, address it.
I will
address it. It's a timely topic.
Her
About 30 seconds.
Her father was a policeman. She was a policeman for 30 years. She was in every single department there. School resource officer. She worked in dispatch. She was a sergeant. She was a captain. She was ready to move up. She had one of the top scores on all the assessment testing for civil service or whatever they used to move themselves along. So she had earned her way to the top. I really am with you there. If her name was Ken Furtado instead of Kelly Furtado, I think she would have got the job in the same way. But she's very, very aggressive. She's at a point in her career where she wants to make significant changes, and she's working hard to do it.
You're saying she's the best there is, and she happens to be the first female to lead your department.
Absolutely.
Well, I hope she works out. Good luck with that.
Say a prayer for me, Gene.
I will. We'll light a candle on the way out. We have over here. By the way, you have new restaurants going in on the waterfront. I wish we could talk more about it. I can't. And Columbia Street, the famous street for the Portuguese restaurants, you're going to redo that whole thing. Good luck with that.
We will.
Obrigado.
Okay.
Thanks for coming in, Mayor.
Appreciate it, Gene.
That's 10 News Conference, your #1 and longest running political show in Southern New England. Watch all of our shows on turnto10.com. For now, I'm Gene Valicenti. See you on the news next week at 6 o'clock and on the radio on WPRO.